So I watched the What's the Reality podcast interview with Sydney from Temptation Island. Of course, AD from Love is Blind is the host there. And I want to talk a little bit about what Sydney described as her experience on Temptation Island, some of the behind the scenes of what really happened and what led to her ultimate decision of breaking it off with Mikey. And I think you'd be a little surprised, just in case you haven't already watched it. Let me break it down for you, okay? So, first off, she said production was very much a part of that decision of moving forward with getting to know Xavier instead of sort of waiting for Mikey to see was he going to come around or not. She also said that Mikey told her that he was clipped and that multiple things that was said on the show were not actually said. They broke it up. Of course, we know with reality TV, they are pretty much taking your likeness and taking your words and they are able to chop it up, chop it and screw it, mix it together and make it whatever they want to make it. That is what you sign up for. And so I know a lot of people online kind of are 50-50 split with like whether he actually said some of those things or if he was really edited. Sydney says she does believe that he was edited because she said that she herself was clipped in a few things that she said. And I think one particular being where she said, I have a relationship, but I can talk to whoever I want. She said that's not what she said. She said she has a relationship, but she came here for a reason. And of course, with her experience, she is able to talk to whomever and get to know whomever. Something along that manner. I'm paraphrasing here. But because of that, she did believe him when he said, I never said those things and that like I was ready to just, fall for another girl. And that's what made her feel bad and think about the way she was moving with Xavier and how she jumped so quickly, which let me take that back. She didn't say that she agrees that she jumped quickly like some people online believe. She said that she did everything the way, like, she stands by how she did things. But I kind of think that's a little bit of a contradiction because if she didn't think that, then why did she take him back immediately? Like, as soon as they got home, she said 4 days later they got back together. And she said on the reunion that she felt bad. She saw the change in him. She saw how upset he was, and watching someone cry and tell you how much you hurt them or how much they were down for you will make you rethink things. And I believe that because production was so heavily involved in her decision, I could see her totally like regretting doing a lot of the things that she did with the thoughts in the back of her mind that Mikey was doing things because Mikey told her when he, came to her house, he like, begging for another chance, that production was in his ear telling him, oh, she's doing this, she's doing that. And apparently, when he went to her house a couple of days later, he told her that production hated him and, he wasn't doing anything. They were trying to encourage him to get to know the girls more and to act on something. And I knew that just based off of those first little initial interviews they did in the beginning, that they wanted him to be that fall guy. They wanted Mikey to be the black guy that screws up and like has sex or something on camera and completely throws his relationship out the window, which I feel like season one, I forgot his name, but he did that, right? They wanted to repeat that same thing, but Mikey didn't give them that. And the reason why I actually believe him on this is because if you notice the bonfires that they showed us, the first two bonfires with Mikey, yes, they showed where he said, I guess I need to, get it together and, shoot my shot, right? Which is what really set Sydney off, right? Okay. The next bonfire, he was just sort of confiding in that girl. Yeah, he said something like, thank you, I appreciate you being here for me, blah, 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 blah. But it was very like PG. Like there was nothing going on. It wasn't anything that would make you upset. She was already upset from the first thing he said. So then we go into the third bonfire. It's still the same kind of PG stuff. I was wondering when were they going to start showing how he was crashing out over Sydney. And finally, I think like the fourth bonfire, fifth bonfire, it was just tears, like waterfalls. And that's when she started, sort of being like, wow. But she had already advanced to a certain point with Xavier. And I think they knew what they were doing. They did that on purpose. I honestly think her reaction would have been different if she would have saw Mikey crying earlier or knew how upset he was. but they wanted her to get to a certain point with him, which leads me back to where she said they were pushing her towards Xavier. She said that she actually was more interested in Clint because he reminded her of Mikey more. But no, production wanted her to talk to Xavier because they saw the connection and they were like, oh, this is going to be like a great love story. I think you should talk to X. And so, of course, on these shows, you are isolated. You don't have your family, you don't have your friends. In this case, you don't even have the person you came here with. You barely know the other girls here. You're going to be impressionable. And you want to look good on the show. You want production to like you because you want to have a good edit. Like, there's so many layers to this. But so she was like, okay. So she leaned towards Xavier. And she did say, I mean, regardless of if she was sort of pushed towards it or not, they did develop a genuine connection. But maybe if production would have just allowed her to go where she felt naturally to go, she may not have actually broken off with Mikey because the Clint guy that she liked or whatnot probably would have made her think about Mikey a lot. And she said herself that maybe the final bonfire would have went differently. In that moment where she was talking about, Mikey saying that they were lying on him and so on, AD laughed, and I just thought that was so like off-putting to me. Like, I don't know. It's almost like maybe she just doesn't believe him. The man can't catch a break. Because even on the reunion, the way Nick Vale was, coming at him with the questions for like 15 minutes straight out of a 2 hour interview, like 15 minutes of a 2 hour interview is a long time. And yeah, I don't know. I'm going to do a whole different interview video, but let's not sway the interviewee. Let's just listen to them talk, ask questions to dig deeper. But I know everyone has their own style. I'm just saying. But after she laughed, she asked her if she thought that Mikey was manipulative. And Sydney said, I don't think that he's doing it on purpose. And AD said, I think he's absolutely doing it on purpose. And she used the example during the reunion where he said, Sydney's going to always be my friend. Like, we'll always be in each other's lives. And AD felt like he was trying to say, like, stake his claim. Like, so she gets it ingrained in her mind that he's not going anywhere. But I saw it differently. I saw it where he was actually trying to protect himself because it's very clear how much he loves her and how bad he feels about losing her. And I think him saying like, Sydney's going to always be my friend. We're going to always be in each other's lives. He's saying, I want to be a part of your life as long as you let me. And I think he's hoping that one day, she comes back to him. And so to me, that's his way of saying like, I'll always be here because I will always love you. Whether it's true or not, like they were getting into like, well, what about when you move on and he moves on and all that? I don't think it was that complex, girl. He's just saying, I love you and I will always love you. We know it's not that deep. Okay, I'll continue this convo in part 2. Meet me over there.